Hi, I'm Dan. I'm 36, gay, married, and I regret to inform you that I have gone down the rabbit hole of heated rivalry. I have too many thoughts, too many feelings, too many observations, and I'm about to go very, very deep into season 1. I'm talking dissertation style. If you're new here, like I said, I'm Dan. I live in Minneapolis. No, I'm not your traditional hockey fan. This is my husband's that I bought for him for one of our first dates, I think. But I'm getting in the spirit, okay? We're going to the boy aquarium, at least via this insane TV show. And I am going to do a mini series going episode by episode of season 1 of Heated Rivalry because that show did something to my brain chemistry and it has me in a chokehold and it won't let go. For those of you who live under a literal rock, have no social media and or no access to the outside world, I have no idea how you found this video, but Heated Rivalry is a sports romance series about two rival pro hockey players, Canadian Shane Hollander and Russian Ilya Rosanov, whose very public on-ice rivalry is not the full story behind closed doors. It's adapted from a book series written by Rachel Reed called Game Changers, originally by streaming service Crave, based out of Canada, and was picked up by HBO Max. Disclaimer up top, I have not read the books. And to be completely honest, I am not much of a reader. However, the show makes me want to read the books, but now that it's been confirmed that season 2 is a go, I don't want to spoil anything for myself. So if, as we're going through this, there's something biblically inaccurate about my thoughts and feelings and how it was, delved into further in the book, please forgive me. There's a lot of new kids here, and we're all really freaking pumped to love the thing that you love. So love us back. That being said, I have to be 1,000,000% honest. I was not overly interested in this show at first because every headline or TikTok or whatever was all, this show is the right kind of filth. It is so smutty. Hockey butts are the best thing in the world. How didn't I know about them? I mean, that's a good question because us Midwesterners, we do be knowing that already. And listen, I love that journey for whoever is looking to take that ride. Okay. More power to you. It's not really my cup of tea. And I was under the assumption that that was just it. Now, to be fair, I think only episode 1 had been out right around the time that this had kind of entered my sphere. And as we will talk about, there is a lot of great bodies, sex, but for, I'm going to assume, all of you who have watched the series, you know that there's a ton more underneath just that. As someone who, I played sports, I wouldn't consider myself an athlete or ever being, anywhere near the situation that these guys find themselves in. I have definitely always been attracted to the athletic stereotype. I'm talking Gronk, Jimmy G, somebody else that I can't say because now I know too much about their political affiliations. And even though I'm super grateful for obviously all of the queer love stories that since I was younger have come out, the first major one I remember was Brokeback Mountain, but now there's a ton of films and TV shows and things. They just never were close enough to a story that I would have resonated with or, would have hoped when I was younger, would have happened. Listen, shows like Schitt's Creek, hilarious, perfectly done, so beautiful. I just don't see myself in any of those characters, right? The other thing is that a lot of the queer love stories really lean into the tragedy of it all, or they flatten the characters into like this singular archetype, and you end up with this almost like slightly homophobic lens on a character where they are defined by being a top, a bottom, a this, a that. And I haven't found something that's come across my feed that really and truly gave what would be almost like a very stereotypical characters this like crazy level of nuance. And spoiler or non-spoiler, like the way that I'm assuming this was written and the way that it was acted and the way that it was produced really made these guys feel like whole and dynamic people that were competitive and complicated and tender and also and very much like hockey bros navigating the world. I think the first episode came out right around the time that my husband and I were going down to Mexico just before Christmas to kind of get away for our 5-year wedding anniversary, his birthday. And I remember him saying, "Oh, we should watch it." And I was like, no, I am going to watch my show, my YouTube, my whatever. And he kind of kept asking. And eventually I just give in to the asks and we jumped right in. Yes, it is hot and smutty. It delivers on the headlines that were posted. But some of the main things that really stood out to me that hooked me very quickly in the first episode and then just dragged my ass through the rest of that season. I still am physically hurt by the beauty that was episode 6. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It was really a story about people battling secrecy, navigating family pressures, industry pressures, pointing out in I think a really cool way, like the cultural differences in homophobia, vulnerability, masculinity, and the weird way that love can make you like equally brave and terrified and fluctuate inconsistently between those two states of existence. Just as a kind of brief framework and overview, as I mentioned, the season is 6 episodes. The first episode is entitled Rookies. We get to learn a little bit more about Shane and Ilya, their kind of parallel but very clearly different paths to getting through rookie season and getting into the pros. That first episode covered a lot of time. When you're watching this, you need to make sure that you are eyes up, phone down, because there was such a significant amount of time that they covered. And if you weren't watching, you didn't see the little thing pop up and say, March 2011 or whatever. But you get, again, introduced to them. You get their first kind of interaction. You start to see the potential of what could come. And then, as I now know they like to do, leave you confused with whiplash and desperately waiting for the next episode. Episode 2 is entitled Olympians. This is, shockingly, about their experience going to the Olympics. And we get to deep dive further into particularly Ilya's background and how having the Olympics set in Russia impacts things for them. Again, it is a wild ride that ebbs and flows and resolves and devolves quite significantly over that time period. Episode 3 was a total curveball to me. It's entitled Hunter, referring to one of the other professional hockey players, Scott Hunter. And we basically zoom out from Shane and Ilya as the main focus. And you get to see Scott, who is also in the closet, but further along on the journey, meet a cute boy at the smoothie shop. It's not a straight shot journey, obviously. Again, the episode leaves us with a little bit of heartbreak, which at this point now you're just like, why do you hate me? Can you give me something happy to like take to the next day and wait until the next episode is out? But we kind of fade out with again another kind of misstep on getting to what we're all hoping for as the resolve, which is, the ability for these people to love each other and do so authentically. Episode 4 is entitled Rose, and we zoom kind of back into Ilya and Shane. We still get kind of now both storylines happening, which is nice, but our two boys, Ilya and Shane, they're going through it. They are going through it in this episode. We see one of them making a move that appears as if he's really committed to not being gay or not coming out at all, and almost like regressing way further than even when we met them. Episode 5 is we need to bust back out the neck brace. We need to put on our seatbelt. Need the tissues ready, probably a bottle of water so you can rehydrate once you've basically sobbed yourself through, even halfway through the episode. We get to see the women in both Shane and Ilya's life be the most incredible human beings known to Earth. You get to see Shane and Ilya like the lightest that they've ever been. And you get subtle sneak peeks into glimpses of what life could be, which they haven't even wrapped their minds around at all, even what being together would look like. But there's a short scene that makes you think, is this a preview of what family life could look like for them? We also have a extremely pivotal family event that then leads to one of the most incredible, heart-pouring monologues done in the coolest way. We get the massive, positive crescendo that we've been wanting all of these episodes. A massive showing of love, and for the first time, I let myself feel hope that Shane and Ilya were actually gonna figure it out and drop the chaos and the BS and just there was a shot. I have never hit the go to the next episode button faster in my life, from 5 to 6. And finally, episode 6 is entitled The Cottage. I was completely in heaven and equally completely unwell for the entire length of that episode. Needless to say, it was a wild ride. And after watching it through the first time, real time, just absorbed into it and feeling feelings and crying in ways that I never do. I can count on one hand the number of times I've cried about real life or anything since I've been an adult on one hand. Both hands, both feet. This show it's incredible. It's incredible. So, as I think just about everyone else who's watched it through one time, that was not enough. It will never be enough. I am how fast can you guys did a really fast turnaround on shooting season 1 and getting it cut and out. I'm going to need you to bring that same level of excitement and fervor to we got to get season 2 out in 2026. But until then, I was I have to rewatch it. And one of the things that kind of was bothering me at the end was I couldn't articulate why it was so amazing in a way that I felt I had covered everything or painted the full picture of why this resonated miles and miles ahead of any other queer love story that I've seen. And so I went PhD mode. I watched each of the episodes, took nearly minute or 2 minute notes on my computer, and thematically, obviously, we talked about a bunch of things at the top of this video that I loved and that I knew I had seen. But there were so many small things that I caught because I was intentionally watching with my eyes and not just heart ripped open, just like, please give me the good feels. And that was kind of the catalyst to do this deep dive that will be following this video. Just a quick kind of preview of some of those little things. The micro expressions, the face acting, the underplayed outward reaction to something that was clearly so internally devastating for both of them. I was in complete awe. I think Shane's character, when you're looking more at the season as a whole, has more opportunities to, I think, demonstrate those sorts of moments. Ilya catches up real quick at the end, but that was incredible. I loved how intimacy, and not intimacy in a sexual way, was handled, and it was like beautiful and confusing. I mean, these boys almost never held hands, but you still felt like they were incredibly close and locked in with one another when both were in the headspace to do so, and obviously not in public. It was interesting that Shane, Ilya, and even Scott had such different family structures and such different reasons maybe to be in the closet or stay in the closet. And regardless of that, they all were simultaneously having the same battle with coming out and giving into love and things like that. And as I already alluded to, the female characters in this show deserve just as many flowers as the male leads. They were perfect comic relief. They were the strength, the best friends, the family, the safe places for these characters, and I was just absolutely blown away by them. So if you're interested in coming on this journey with me, as I mentioned, one video on this channel per episode, going deep into it. I'm editing the first one right now, and I somehow had 3 hours of footage that I am desperately trying to get down to under an hour, but that's where we're at. If you've watched Heated Rivalry, which I'm assuming you have, tell me which episode wrecked you the hardest. And if you haven't watched it yet, I mean, I guess if you want to watch episode 1 and watch my video dissertation on it, and then go to 2 and go to 3, let's do this. If you're interested, subscribe. If you liked this video, you can like it. And let's keep this insane meteoric rise of both Connor and Hudson, who play Ilya and Shane, going. Because at the time of filming this, Hudson was just on Jimmy Fallon, and I saw this video of him trying to get in to the building. Shit's going down. And the more posts and views and comments and shit that's out there, the more people are going to find it, and the more we are ensuring our destiny in getting season 3, 4, 5, 6, 18. I'd love it. All right. Until next time.